Now, the Bram Weinstein Show on Washington's new home for sports, ESPN 630.
Hey, baby. Hey, baby. The hey, baby is supposed to be sexy. I don't know why it turned into that. Hey, babies.
You vary between hey, babies and Ted.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, and it's just...
I know. It messes everything up. Got an auto win tonight, player. Nope. I guess not.
No, Ottawa's favored tonight, bro.
You wait till 4:45 to get your preview of Caps and Sens.
It's not good, man.
What's their City Connect look like?
There's no City Connect in hockey.
All right. So, Keim has tweeted out, the word is out on the referee crew this weekend.
Yeah, hold on. I can find it for you. I think he retweeted somebody, and that's how he got it.
I knew about this last night. I wasn't allowed to say anything. Let's see. Where is it?
Yeah, he says, no, where is it? Yeah, he says, well, this will be interesting. John Hussey's crew will work the Giants-Commanders game Sunday. It was his crew that worked the Sunday night game last year, in parentheses. McLaurin called a wipe out a TD, non-PI against Samuel in the end zone.
Yeah. Hussey. Yep.
The McLaurin call, was that the one where he was on the line and not on the line?
Yeah. And the guy had his hand in his pocket the whole time waiting to call a flag on him, even though McLaurin clearly looked at him and said, am I good? And the guy didn't answer the question and then wanted to throw a penalty on him. And then on the next play, Curtis Samuel got mugged in the end zone and they didn't call.
His back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put zip ties on him and they didn't call a penalty for it.
Yeah.
That crew happens to be the crew this weekend. You want to know why we know this?
Probably because people want you to know that it's them.
Which, good.
Yeah, right.
This is something I didn't talk about from the game the other day, because I know a lot of people like to go after Ron for being kind of placid on the sidelines in general, and then every once in a while doing some things where you're like, are you paying attention? I actually thought that he was kind of on it this last week on a few different occasions that I liked seeing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like the Falcons tried to pull a fast one on them with the throw the punt unit on the field, run the punt unit back off the field, run the offense on the field, and try to snap the ball really fast when you're not set. And fortunately for them, the referee kind of stepped in and slowed it down, but didn't slow it down enough. And Rivera had to burn a timeout and chewed out the referees.
Yeah.
For good reason. Because he's like, don't you see what they're trying to do here?
Right, exactly.
You can't let them do that. Like, we have to have time to substitute if they're going to run people back out on the field. And the referees were like, we left a guy there, but it wasn't long enough. And Rivera's like, and now you made me burn a timeout because you guys didn't give us the requisite amount of time.
That's right.
There were a couple others, too. He was on it. He was on it on the intentional grounding.
Yes. Yeah.
He was the one that ran over to the referees and was like, that didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. And he was the one that was pointing that out to everybody. So Ron was on it. And then this week, actually, in Philadelphia, remember, he got the illegal formation on one of those tush-push plays, too.
Yes. Yeah,
I said before the game, I would scrutinize that thing and go to the referees and tell them what you think is wrong with it before the game so that it's in their ear that if they see something that they flag it and move it back. Because that thing's 100% for them.
See, these are the types of things that when they said that Bieniemy was going to be associate head coach, that I'm glad we're starting to see pick up a little bit. Some of the more things that
you're right. But in the three scenarios I just named, 2 defensive plays, 1 special teams play. That's not Bieniemy. So I'm just telling you, Ron's been on it a little bit
what
here.
I'm getting at
is these little things. You know who's really good at that? Sirianni's really good at it. That little stuff. He's like really good at that stuff. I get infuriated with the other teams. Like when we talked about Maryland the other day against Illinois, I'm like, you guys killed yourselves by making dumb decisions that were just like self-inflicted wounds.
What I'm getting at,
you're not buttoned up. I was nice to see Rivera buttoned up on some of these little things. Atlanta totally tried to pull a fast one on him the other day with the run the punt team off, try to snap the ball real fast when they're not set and get a first down. They tried to pull that, and Rivera didn't have anything of it. And I was so mad. I was so happy that he chewed out the referee for being like, you can't let them get away with that. You made us burn a timeout because you can't let them get away with it. It's your fault.
Yeah, all I'm getting at is that it seemingly has taken a little less off his plate overall, and that's why we're getting a little bit more of this. That's all.
Then today, the reason why we know about the referee crew is because the team wants everybody to know it.
Good. That's some gamesmanship.
Good is right.
Also,
because that referee, there should be some pressure on that referee crew going into this thing. don't do anything utterly ridiculous in favor of them again, because it's going to look really, really bad after what happened last year. And I think the record against this crew is something like 1-5, something like that. Like they've had a bad run with this particular crew.
It's also the, if you know, the Maras run everything. And so
they do.
Like if you paid attention to it like us for long enough,
oddly, their record stinks.
Right.
But like they do run everything.
They do like to get these little inside things, and they also know this team always plays like crap up there, whether it was the old Meadowlands or the new Meadowlands. That they just do all the little gamesmanship things that if you know, because the Maras always pull that crap off. So of course this ref crew is back for the second time in a row with these two matching up again.
When was the last time on a Wednesday you remember someone putting out
never.
there?
For us, never actually. Like usually,
love it.
Yeah, I guess sometimes we get it maybe the day of or the Friday of, but not like this, where like it's definitively was a crew that screwed them over the last time out.
Screwed them over.
And it's the same opponent now.
I mean, they still lost 20-12. I remember thinking at the time, you still scored 12 points.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The end of the game was utterly ridiculous.
Correct.
On
Yes.
your home field, too.
Right.
In front of your crowd, those refs did that. And that one on McLaurin, man, did that look bad.
People were saying, like, you can't do this with gambling involved. There was a whole discourse after that.
Well, it looked
one.
really bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Because of all people, too, McLaurin's like, you're kidding, right?
Right, exactly.
I'm the most attention to detail person in the league. Like, you got to be kidding me right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's obvious I asked you if everything was okay. What's your problem, dude?
Right, exactly.
But remember he had his hand in his pocket the whole time.
Yeah,
he was waiting to throw it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's
Don't put the fix in on us. I don't want the fix in. I want this season to keep. We wouldn't need to be 4-3 on Sunday. I don't need the fix being in on this thing.
That was one of the few games, too, I remember where leaving the game, so many people had their phones out looking at the same exact picture.
Yes.
It was like social media. You knew before you were even leaving the stadium that they had gotten just dogged, especially on the replays.
Oh, man. All right, so we'll keep an eye on Hussey and his crew over there.
Hussey.
Daniel Jones did return to practice today for the Giants, but he's not cleared for contact. And when asked about it, Brian Daboll said he'll do some stuff. So good answer.
Great.
Good answer. But not cleared for contact. So I think we are trending towards Tyrod Taylor. He is back out there, but until he's cleared for contact, it's not happening. And if he doesn't practice all week, and considering they were actually a little better on offense, I know they didn't score again, but they were a little better on offense than they've been. I would bet that Daboll might want another week.
Maybe.
Especially and if he's got a neck injury with their offensive line in the situation that it's in with our front four, I would err on the side of caution a little bit, too, for an extra week as well. They also haven't done much with Jones. And remember, he threw a tablet at him a couple weeks ago. Remember that?
Well, he also lit into Tyrod, too, though, on Sunday as well, when Tyrod turned the ball over. Was at the end of the first half.
Daboll's feeling it.
Yeah, well, I think
he's feeling it.
I think Daboll. I forget what he said. Like, what are you
in this league? This it gets real in this league.
I want to say he said something along the lines of like, "What are you, an effing rookie or something?" to Tyrod when he turned the ball over, because it was like they got no points out of it. And they were in the red zone. So like, I thought actually that one was like kind of justified. But the thing with Jones is Jones kills this team, so I'm not going to be shocked if he gets cleared on Thursday. And
his record is something like 5-1-1 against Washington. And he's the only other team he has a winning record against is Carolina.
Right.
And it's 2-0. It's like something like that.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying, too. Like, this could be one of those ones where even if he gets cleared late, I could see them going, go out there, you kill this team. So
it's something's going to be in the wind if he plays and Hussey's making the calls. It's not good.
Don't like that.
I don't like that either.
That's some Goodfellas cooking the books type stuff there.
I know. That's what it feels like. It's like, there's something like, something's off here. Yeah, go throw the dice. That's legal. Go ahead.
Terry, go walk down the alleyway.
It's funny. Every time I throw a 6, then I automatically throw a 7. Yeah, they're good. Don't worry about it. The dice are good. Don't worry about it. So, hey, Karen, walk down the hall.
That's what I'm saying.
Keep walking.
That's what I'm saying. Terry, get down there.
Hey, Terry, keep walking. It's right over there around the corner. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Dayball's wife's wearing a fur coat. Put it away.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
This
was a wedding gift.
This whole thing smells. I'm already a hairless cat with this team. After 0-4, I'm a hairless cat with all of it. But,
this is what this is.
Bad.
This is the Goodfellas game. It's Jersey, Giants, Ref crew fixes in. Maras,
Hey,
who are the mobsters of the league.
Listen, we're 1-5. You got to hook us up, Raj, okay? We can't be this bad. We got to, don't worry about those guys. They got to lie on their plate to think about. You got to let us get one here. Hussey. Call in Hussey. The wolf. No. Here comes the wolf.
That's a different one. Yeah, dude, you can't give me a Pulp Fiction reference on a Goodfellas
Here
reference,
comes
man.
the wolf.
That's different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am so, but you know what? I want to give this team credit. Call them out on it.
Yeah,
early.
100%. Yeah.
Wednesday. When do you hear referee matchups on Wednesday?
And
you never hear referee assignments on a Wednesday. You want to know why? Because they want the world to know that they put the guy that screwed them last year on Sunday Night Football back in the same matchup again.
Well, this is what it really actually does too. Is the Post is going to send Nikki and Sam up there, and they're already talking of, all right, who's taking the ref press conference after the game?
Correct.
That not everyone goes
pool
to.
Reporter.
Yeah, the pool reporter usually doesn't actually happen.
Yeah, we're not going to have a pool reporter this year, guys. We don't have time for that.
That's right.
The referees are busy. They're going to have to get on a train. They got a train to catch.
Right. So I'm guessing they're already going, where do we find you after the game, just in case?
Yeah. Listen, these are the parts where the teams, because they hate us, but these are the times when they love us, where they go tell them this is happening. Put a little sunshine on the league and Hussey and the Giants for what this referee assignment this week, which is smart. It's smart. Get out ahead of it. I'm glad I know it because I'm going to say it on the pregame show. And the first time he makes one controversial call, I get to say on the broadcast, this is the crew last year that made two critically awful calls against them that cost them a chance to win that game last year. Right, guys?
Team reporter is still Zach Selby, right? Correct?
Yeah.
I would put him on the radar of
I might text
we
him.
We got you covered in the locker room. Go make sure you get to that ref's pool reporter.
You know what needs to be on commanders.com? Every game Hussey's done under Rivera's era and pull out the big calls in those games.
That's petty.
Beyond.
They're going to get fined if they do that.
Maybe not.
Yes, they will.
The reason why this is out here is the team wants everybody to know.
In quotes, close calls against the Giants recently.
Close calls when John Hussey is the, I think he said it's something like Rivera's 1-5 with him as the crew chief. And it's not all Giants, but still.
It is an outlier.
I got to go look back. When was he the referee and see what happened in those games? That might be a fun one tonight for me to do.
Go look up those games.
The Hussey games. I'll call them the Hussey Files. We might have a full report tomorrow on the Hussey Files. Here's the other one. The good story out of there is this one. Veteran offensive lineman Justin Pugh from Jordan Renan has gone from straight off the couch to being signed to the Giants' active roster within 2 weeks. He was signed to the practice squad October 3rd, but put pen to paper on a new one-year deal with the Giants on Wednesday, the team announced. This comes 3 days after he made his season debut against the Bills. And then on Sunday Night Football during the introductions, he famously said, Justin Pugh, straight off the couch.
Yes. Yeah, there your boy Motram already had T-shirts ready to go, too.
Yep. Let's see. He goes, it was already a stretch for him to start at left guard in that contest, considering he had one padded practice under his belt, but it was indicative of the dire state of the Giants' offensive line. He then improbably shifted over to left tackle once there was an injury there. Here's another reason why. Boy, we don't have a lot of excuses here. They may play with their backup quarterback or a quarterback who's definitely not healthy, hasn't practiced very much. Their offensive weaponry is average at best, although Saquon is back. And now they have an offensive line where a dude straight off the couch is coming in and playing multiple positions across it. I don't know, guys. Oh, by the way, and this is ridiculous, and it's true, the Giants haven't scored an offensive touchdown since week 3. The Giants have not scored an offensive touchdown since week 3. I don't know how we're going to lose this game, but
you gotta stop this.
But because we lost to an 0-4 team at home, I'm counting no chickens. This is the no counting chickens week for me. Hussey showing up. We already lost to an 0-4 team. It's ridiculous if we lose to them.
This team in
particular, they should not score. I want to point out what I write on every card every week. Last shutout, 1991. Here's an opportunity. This team hasn't scored a touchdown in a month. In a month.
They're going to score in the opening drive. This is just how this works. First
play of the game, 80-yard bomb.
Yes.
Play action, 80-yard bomb.
Correct. They're going to chuck it.
Oh, boy.
Because I could rewind the tape of us talking.
They're going to see 13 on the field and go, load it up.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I could rewind the tape for us leading up to this Giants game 6 times over the last 3 years. And I think we're talking about the same thing every time.
I know.
And what's their record against them?
Oddly, here's the odd one though, and you keep forgetting. Like you always get these ideas that these are how things have happened. They haven't lost the last 2 meetings they've gone up there. They had a tie,
right?
And the one before was the ridiculous Week 17 game, last Joe Judge game.
Okay, got it. Yeah, the turtle game where they gave up.
They gave up.
See, I don't count that one.
And
now.
was the one where I said to Rivera before the game, this team hasn't had a shutout since 1991. I'm just telling you this because their offense was so bad that I was like, you guys have a shot at that this weekend. And I think they won 26-7, and they didn't score until the fourth quarter. Like they actually got close to it. The last time, because I'm looking all this crap up these days, the last time they won or went without a loss 3 straight years in the Meadowlands was the early 1980s.
That sounds right. Because they suck up there.
They do, typically.
That's
a House of Horrors place.
Whether it was Old Meadowlands or New Meadowlands, yeah.
Yeah, that place, I think they win more often in Philadelphia than they do in New York through the years.
Yeah, I'd believe that 100%.
Through the years.
Yes.
Dallas, I don't think the record's very good either, but I don't think it's like 3 in a row down there. I'd have to look that one up. I bet that hasn't happened in a long time. 3 in a row in Dallas. I bet that's been a long time.
In general, though, I feel like in general, though, I always feel like this team has been bad for so long, but you still get that one every once in a while. I just feel like they don't ever get that in New York like that.
Yeah, you don't. Redskins-Cowboys rivalry. Let's see if they have a year-to-year. How am I going to find this? Oh. This is when I just try to do this really quick. All right, here we go. Let's see. In Dallas, at Dallas, this is Cowboys first. Okay. We lost there last year. When was the last time we won in Dallas? 2020.
Thanksgiving.
Football team Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Year before that, we lost down there. I don't even see 3. No, it's got to be in forever. Since we've won like 3 in a row down there. Yeah, no. It'll take me forever to find it. Let's see. Here's the 1980s. Cowboys won in Dallas in 1988. Cowboys won in Dallas in 1987, but didn't in 86 or 89. Oh, no, they did. 89. Looks like it. Yeah, something around the 80s. That's the last time that happened too. So it's probably right on par. But Washington has been undefeated up there the last 2 and could be undefeated 3 straight for the first time since the 1980s.
87, 88, 89 is a 3-year stretch that they won 3 times in Dallas.
In Dallas.
Yep.
In Dallas. That's when Joe Gibbs and company were rip-roaring, and this was right before Troy Aikman was drafted.
Yep, right.
Cowboys were bad.
Mm-hmm.
Early 80s, they were good. Redskins beat them. Then the Cowboys were the team that actually dropped off. The 2 teams, the Redskins and Giants, were great in the early to mid to late 1980s. Philadelphia was actually very good with Randall Cunningham and Buddy Ryan, but they weren't good enough to beat the Redskins or the Giants in either year.
Yep.
And the Cowboys finally circled back around when they had drafted Aikman, Irvin, Emmett, and that group, and that really took off in the early 1990s.
Right.
Oh, look at me. I've just pulled an Andy Poland. I was like, oh, I'm Andy Poland. All of a sudden. One other thing I'm looking at and watching, because this will be the 3rd straight week that Washington is facing a team with the worst sack totals. Okay? Yeah, this is a weird year. When they played the Bears in week 5.
Yes.
No, 4?
4.
No, 5.
5.
Right. They were 2-2 and lost to them.
Yes. Yeah.
5. The Bears had 2 sacks for the whole season. 2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, it did. It felt like a month. They had 2 sacks for the whole season.
Yeah.
And you can't name a pass rusher that means anything, do you?
That's right.
Right? They ended up with 4 or 5, something like that. Last week they played the Falcons, who have had 5 through 5 weeks. Had 5.
Mm-hmm.
This week they're
Old
playing.
Man Calais Campbell also got through, too.
Yeah, he did. He did a whole thing, too.
Yeah.
He did Dirty Bird and the whole thing.
He was career sack 100. I think you do that.
We were okay with it.
Those warranted.
We were all okay with it. Yeah. Career sack 100. Bruce Smith wore a robe.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
That dude's also had a great career, by the way. I think he's an underrated player in general, but yeah.
Yeah. This week, we get the Giants, who have, through 6 games, 5 total sacks.
Oh, no. So take the over on whatever the sack total is going to be for them.
So this is the crazy part about that crazy sack total. 3 weeks in a row, they're playing teams that can't get them. The Giants, through week 6, have Kayvon Thibodeau's got 4. Not a single other player on that team has more than a half sack. Not one.
I'm seeing if there's
What
sack
would you
prop
like-
bets right now.
Would you like to bet that that will change this week? 'Cause
Absolutely.
I will bet that will change this week. It's another one. So, like, the craziest part of the Washington has 34 sacks, which is on pace to be very close to the most sacks given up in a single season, okay, to anybody. They're below it right now, but not by much. Right? Not by much. They have, in that span, also played teams that aren't amassing sacks at any clip whatsoever. One that had 2 through 4 games, 5 through 5 games, and 5 through 6 games. And what do you want to bet that they end up giving up 3 to 5 again this weekend?
It's a given. It's got to be.
I know.
They haven't shown it any other way.
This is a crazy week, man. There's some crazy
no
stats.
Sack bets yet, but whenever those post, I'm going to be all over that.
Washington's given up 34. Jones been sacked 28, by the way. In 5 games, not even 6. He didn't play last week. Whatever. Hal's been sacked 34 times. That puts them on pace for 96 or so is what the number is that they're on pace for. The record is 104. The 1986 Eagles gave up 104 sacks in a single season. So they're right on it.
Yeah.
Right on it.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, the 1986 Eagles played 16 games, not 17.
So, yes,
they got to 104.
Spotted one more.
So that would be ugly if that happens. I got to think that that's going to change a little bit. Last week, I think 3 of them were literally on Hal. 3 of the 5.
Sure.
He needed to get rid of the ball on 3 of the 5. That was on him. So I'll hear them out sometimes when they say like the sack total's a little bit everybody. Last week felt the most accurate about that. There were 3 that he just hung on to it too long. Needed to get rid of it.
Speaking of that, did you see Cornelius Lucas got like one of the PFF high grades of the week?
Yeah, he had a really good game.
No sacks given up.
Yeah, he had a really good game.
Graded like a 90 or something like that.
He's grading well. Cosby's graded pretty well. I think Cosby's graded a little better on paper than I've seen on film, but I think he's done a very good job, largely. Yeah. I think he's done a very good job. There was actually one play, I think it was last week or the week before, I think it was this past game, where he got blown up. It was actually the screen pass thing, the touchdown. Mm-hmm. He's the one that got blown up on it.
Got it. Okay.
Which made Hal run away. But then he made up for it and ran down the field. Well, it was one of those, like, he had in his mind, I need to get downfield, and forgot to block the guy in front of him and was surprised when the guy jacked him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't ready for it.
Right.
But he collected himself and got downfield and was one of the lead blockers on that touchdown. It's actually funny to watch. He gets blown up, but then he's downfield blocking for Robinson. It was like the whole, I forgot I needed to do the first part. It was one of those.
Good for him. That usually,
Yeah. It's funny to watch, though.
It's hard to make up plays when you're an offensive lineman.
He got, like, weeble wobbled. He got, like, stunned, but he somehow ended up where he was supposed to be anyway.
Right.
It was pretty crazy. It was a good one. I agree. Like, with Cornelius, he's steady, man. I already know what's going to happen when you put that stuff out there. You should start him every week.
That's what people are going to say.
We'll see. I don't think they're making any changes. I don't get any sense, but Rivera's going to talk in a little bit.
I would hope.
He may be asked about it.
Well, I would hope this at the very bare minimum. If he's active on game day, Eric, you could do a power formation, put in an extra tackle. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's scary if you put an extra tackle in and then run B-Rob behind them both.
Yeah.
Like, let's get a little innovative here. Use your personnel that works. So I feel like that could be something that they do, because I don't think I've seen them line up in any kind of unique offensive line formation all year long, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen them line up 6 offensive linemen yet, right?
6 offensive linemen. They tried to get tricky the other day. They brought Trent Scott in early in the second half.
Okay.
So they did the 6 offensive linemen look, which they don't really do, and they ran a play action, tried to do a shot with it.
Okay. All right.
So the enemy got real tricky with it. He tried.
See, that's what I'm saying. Just run it when you have those guys in.
Well, they tried. They hadn't done it. It looked like a run.
Yeah.
They pulled play action. They tried to take a shot. Atlanta was all over it. They had Terry double covered.
Yeah, because they don't believe Bieniemy's going to run the ball.
Correct. Who would? I don't either.
So, yeah.
Count me in on that, too.
Self-scout there, EB, a little bit.
That's right. You better check your place on the line every play, Terry, because Hussey and his crew will be watching you, and you're going to throw 68 passes, and we all know it.
There's probably teams that are going, they put 6 offensive linemen out, just put 3 D linemen down.
They should.
And we're just going to drop everybody.
Yeah, they should. 1 defensive lineman.
In worst case, we give a 10-yard run.
Yeah, whatever. Make them do it.
We don't believe you.
Yeah, we don't believe you. We don't. All right, let me take a quick break. I want to get into the Phillies for a minute next. Bram Washington Show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital. Team October is the Philadelphia Phillies. They rout the Arizona Diamondbacks last night 10-0 en route to now a 2-0 series lead as that one heads back out west, but feels like it's just no chance that they're going to come back and beat them. Like, just all the karma and mojo is so on their side. So Club Mayhem up there is on their way, appears to be back to the World Series for potentially a rematch. We'll have to see. That's if the Astros get out of a hole that they're in, and our guy Max is pitching tonight for Texas, which I'm with you, could really go either way because we kind of just don't really know. But he's going to give it his best shot. That guy is a competitor.
You know he's going to give up a solo shot or two in the first inning.
Yeah.
And then it's whether he settles down or not for the next two or three. Kicking to the Phillies, though, did you hear, I forget which Diamondbacks player was asked about, like, what's happening to them? Did you hear his quote on the Phillies?
No.
He said, we're getting effing humbled out there.
Yeah. Which is hard to do in baseball.
We can't hit. We can't pitch. They're killing us.
It's one of those, like, the energy in the room isn't good for you. It's one of those, you walked in, you're not invited to this party, and you know it, and you feel it. And if you don't think that, like, that type of stuff matters, you don't know sports. Like, the energy matters. It really does.
Well, and speaking of that, have you seen what ticket prices are in Arizona for Game 3?
No. Like nosediving?
Get-in price, $13. Greeny was joking, like, of flying the producers out there because you can get a cheap flight out there. And
well, and also that's an area where a lot of people relocate.
Like,
so, like, not unlike Florida or something like that. Like, there's probably a lot of people from the East Coast that already live out there because Scottsdale and those areas are very, very, very fashionable places for East Coasters to retire
it's
to.
Where people go to retire. Yeah, exactly.
So you're gonna find out your neighbor has a Go Birds tattoo in his lower lip. This is when you find this out.
The only pushback from Greeny's producers, though, were Game 3 is tomorrow. Game 4 is Friday. They might not make it to the weekend, is what the joke was.
Yeah.
That they couldn't actually make the trip because the series might be over in 4. So
it feels that way.
Right.
Maybe they'll win a game. We'll see. But I'm pretty convinced they're not beating them in a series. Like, this is over.
Right. I mean,
it's over. And then we'll see who they play. And, tonight will be the night. Like, if Scherzer looks like Scherzer somehow and Texas wins again, then I got a hard time buying Houston's coming back. Right. Texas will win that series and will probably end up in the World Series against them.
This is one of the times where I hate that baseball, when it goes from East Coast to West Coast, goes 2-3-2. Because it basically means the Phillies are going to win it on the road. Yeah. Like, there's no way they either sweep or they win in 5. I don't think it goes to 6. So.
Yeah, I agree. There was the other part of this, and not that this is really anything new, but, like, all of our ex-guys are the stars in this. Right. All of them.
Yeah,
all
sure.
of them.
I
mean, Turner, I know they were killing him early in the year because he had a really
But then they picked him back up. Like, I do give Philly fans credit for that. They kind of realized, if we're going to win, we need this guy to be good. And they picked him back up. What was that? August, July, something like that. Where
he finally had a big hit in a big game. And they put up like a sign up off one of the highways. And they're like, "You're the best, Trey." Well, it was like one of those things.
It was, he was still slumping and they gave him a standing ovation.
Right.
They just decided, like, all right, we've said what we need to say about you.
Yeah.
Turn it around, man. And they did. And then they put up the billboard after that because
their fans just want you to play hard for them.
That's 400 for the next month or whatever it was. So,
and then last night he hit a home run.
Yeah, of course.
Got walked twice. Your boy Schwarber hit 2 of them.
Right.
Now, he's not part of the original gang, but he is still wore the uniform and was Babe Ruth for a month.
He's the captain, though, of that team.
I love that dude.
They've said the reason he lived. They say the reason.
I don't know why he can't get more than like a 1-year contract. It's like amazing to me.
He's got a long contract with them now.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. He signed a legit deal with them.
The fact that he was bouncing around for a few years there, considering how clutch he's been in these moments through the years, is amazing to me, actually.
No, he like embraced it real quick up there. Like, he has freaking a Wawa deal. Like, that's how quickly he globbed on to the Philly culture. Yeah, he got a 4-year deal from the Phillies.
Okay.
4 years, $79 million. He got he got a deal from them.
He was bouncing around a little bit. When he came to us, it was a 1-year deal. Then I think he went to them, it was a 1-year deal. Then they gave it to him again.
Because he was so good with
one
them.
of us. It became one of us.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's the captain of that team, actually. Like, ask anybody around. He's the one that facilitates most of the energy in that clubhouse.
There's some kind of record for team collective home runs that they've been hitting here in October, like some streak of that. Of course it is.
Yeah.
This happened last year. They got red hot like late in the year, and then in October started hitting bombs all over the place. All of a sudden their offense blew up, and
I told you this when we did our predictions at the beginning of the year. I said, don't worry, the Braves are going to win, but the Phillies are going to go in exactly how they went in the year before. And it's like clockwork. They did it exactly the same way.
Then we got our guy Harper, goes 1 for 4 again, got a walk, didn't hit a home run, but he's hitting .385 in the postseason, so he's streaking towards MVP of the playoffs if they do end up winning. We'll see who MVP of the World Series is. That'll depend on what happens in those games, but like he's streaking towards basically the MVP of the team of the playoffs. He's showing himself to be extremely clutch again. And the whole point of this is just to say we had all these guys. Like it's hard to watch. It really. I mean, you seem to be over it, but there's a part of me that is still kind of hard to watch. That all of these people were wearing our uniform, and a couple of them are still very much in the prime of their careers. And then here's this other guy who isn't in the prime of his career, but he's such an animal. He's coming back to pitch, probably with half an arm anyway. It's hard to watch a little bit. Like that was our team.
And the most important.
And here they are in the most important games, killing it for these other teams.
And yet, in the most important stat category, the Nationals won. All of those guys, minus Scherzer, because he was a part of it, 0.
Right. Well, that may change.
Okay. I mean, it might.
In about 2 weeks, that may change.
But either way, they did it without Harper.
Yeah,
it's always worth saying.
This team was in the World Series last year.
Sure.
Now they're about to go back. It looks like they're about to go back.
This is why I'm at
I can
peace
pay
with it.
$13 to go watch them do it live in person if I wanted to.
I want to. Yeah.
And go sit in that pool or whatever it is, hang out with Berthume, just check it out, take it all in.
It's still, they've got a ring. All those guys don't.
I hear you. It's just a little hard.
Well, except
that's
for
all. It for me, as someone who just wants to root for my teams, and when you have star players, I'd like to retain them and keep them around. It's very hard to watch. As much as like I feel like the Phillies are addictive because like the atmosphere. It's hard not to like their players. Like
sure.
the whole thing. The whole thing feels like really. It's easy to wrap your arms around. Other that it's Philadelphia and it's a rival of ours and. We don't technically like them very much, but I'd way rather them be in the World Series than Arizona. I'll watch with them in it. I'm not going to watch if Arizona got there. No, Tommy Pham's up. Oh, I can't wait. Like, who cares?
There's a difference here, though, because I was talking with somebody that I've been going to Nats games with since they got here. The first iteration of the Phillies team, or the last iteration of the Phillies that won a World Series, they were all a bunch of punks.
Yeah.
Chase Utley, Jason Worth, Ryan Howard, Victorino, go down the list.
Yeah.
Those guys were Philly punks.
Yeah.
These guys are kind of like new age. We're just puffing our chest out here. We're feeding off the energy.
Yeah.
We're not, what's on the field. And that's where I think the difference lies.
I agree.
Because I hated that Phillies team. They would crush the Nats because the Nats sucked at that point too.
Yeah.
But this Phillies team is different. They're not all Philly grown. And look, Schwarber, he's never going to be remembered as a Phillies champion. He will always be remembered as a Cubs champion.
Yeah, that's true.
Turner, he's probably going to be remembered as a Phillies champion if he wins. Same thing with Harper, but
Harper definitely will.
Harper, yeah. No, of course.
Harper's is working towards that statue in Philadelphia. I mean, like that's what's happening with him.
They were having a discussion today saying, is Harper approaching being the face of baseball? And I said he's already the face of baseball.
Who else would it be other than
Ohtani is what they were saying. But I said this, Ohtani doesn't want to be the face of baseball. He's very private. It's the same thing with Judge. Judge is an introvert and doesn't like to put himself out there like that. Harper from the get-go has always put himself in the spotlight and not shied away from it. So I feel like it's like if you don't think he's the face of baseball, where you been at for the last 4 or 5 years?
I shouldn't say this because I'm not thinking it through quickly, but like who are the best Phillies ever? And where would he already rank on that?
They got a lot of names. Mike Schmidt probably is the one that comes to mind. Holiday.
Mike Schmidt. Okay. Position players. Let's do position players because I think like pitchers is always different. But like Pete Rose played there, but he played the majority of his career with the Reds, and the Phillies lost when they got to the World Series when Pete Rose was there.
It's all the guys I just named from that last iteration of the World Series team. Ryan Howard, Chase Utley. Mike Schmidt, as I just mentioned. Jimmy Rollins, another underrated ones.
But they were a team that forever, back in the day, had Robin Roberts as a pitcher's all-time great, but they didn't win very much. They're like one of those teams that never won very much.
Steve Carlton's on here as a
Steve
pitcher.
Carlton, yes.
We're getting guys in the 30s, 40s, and 50s here.
Correct.
So I'm just skipping over. Bobby Abreu as well. He was there for 8 years. Cole
Sure.
Hamels.
Cole
That's
Hamels.
another one.
Sure. I think as a position player, though, he's not only top 5 all-time Phillies player. I think you make an argument he's very close to number 1 at
Schilling
this point.
too pitched up
Kurt
there
Schilling,
for 8 years as well.
He's gone full space lasers, by the way. I don't know if anyone's noticed that.
I do know that.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Schilling has gone full space lasers.
It's got a good ring to it, actually.
Yeah.
You didn't force that one.
No.
No, I mean, I'm with you. He's probably there. He won an MVP already, correct? Didn't he win one last year or 2 years ago, I think? I think he won an MVP, so that would make sense. I mean, yeah.
And now he's having these crazy postseasons.
He's got to win one, though, because that's an organization that...
I think it's happening this year. I feel like it is. I feel like it's happening
We
this
said
year.
It was happening last year, and the Astros beat them.
I wasn't sure last year with the Astros, but like, if they get Texas, I think it's going to be them. I don't know why. I just think the energy is going to overwhelm Texas a little bit. Houston's kind of been there, done that too many times.
It's going to be Creed v. Animals. I mean, that's what
you know
it is.
What the Texas thing reminds me of? Actually, one of the years the Red Sox won the World Series, the Rockies went on a ridiculous run where they won like 23 of 24. Then they got to the World Series and they got crushed.
Right.
So, like, I think the energy here, it's just going to take, let's just say Texas keeps winning. They haven't felt losing yet. When they lose 7-1 in front of that manic crowd up there, I think it's going to be the same thing. $13 get in for the World Series down there because they're going to know what the score is.
Right. Phillies fans are going to take over that.
Yeah.
Probably is actually what's really going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Does that line up with the Eagles in Dallas at all? Does that line up at all?
Oh, no, I doubt it.
Because the Eagles haven't played Dallas yet, right? Hasn't happened.
Eagles Cowboys November 5th. No.
At Eagles November 5th.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
So the World Series could be happening around then, but it would be in Philly.
It'd be after.
The home game for Dallas with the Eagles is not until December. But when does the World Series start?
Game 7 would be November 4th.
Oh my God.
So
would that be in Philly or Texas? I don't know. Who won the All-Star game? I don't remember. Isn't that still what it is?
No,
oh, that's
they haven't
over?
done that for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
It's whoever has the better record, period. So whoever had the better record in the regular season.
Oh, God, now I got to look that up. Hold on.
I think it was the Rangers. Pretty sure it was the Rangers.
Who had the better record? The
Rangers went 90-72.
90, Phillies won
90-72. I don't know what the tiebreaker is. Head-to-head, I guess.
Who won the All-Star game?
That doesn't matter anymore.
You take the bus?
Haven't done that for a while, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So
90-72, 90-72. Did they play each other? It's probably what it would have to come down to, right?
I would think so. So, I mean, that would have to be the next thing.
Let's ask Google. Would Google know the answer to this? Someone must have asked by now. Oh, hold on. Dang it. Google? Where are you, Google? There you are. Okay, Google. If the Rangers play the Phillies in the World Series,
It's not going to come up the way you want it to.
Who has
It's not how internet search
home
works.
field
How old are you
advantage?
over there?
I'm doing ChatGPT. In fact, let's see. The Rangers would get home field advantage in the World Series after having been the road team in the Wild Card Series. The first tiebreaker is head-to-head. The Rangers won all 3 games in the
3-0.
season series.
Yeah.
So the Rangers would get home field advantage because they tied in the standings, but they beat them head-to-head.
So it doesn't matter because Game 7 would be in Dallas.
So Game 7 would be
and
in
then
Dallas,
Eagles,
and the
Cowboys
Cowboys would be up a day later.
Yeah, right.
That's a pretty good double-double for the old, if they go to a Game 7 for all the Eagles fans to go down there.
And then what? Go back.
Steal their money, go back up, and then make fun of them while they beat the Cowboys the next night. It's a different trip.
Different fans, though.
Who?
The ones that would travel for the Phillies.
I don't know. In this case, I don't know.
The ones... All right,
I don't know.
I feel like
in
this distinction
case.
has to be made. The reason why the Phillies fans are so outrageously crazy is because it's all Eagles fans that aren't at an Eagles game.
Right.
The diehard Phillies fans, I've been to Phillies Nats games plenty of times. The crowds,
everyday run-of-the-mill baseball games, you can't be that nuts at them because you look like a psychopath.
no, but they're even normal.
Baseball games are great to go to because they're chill.
But that's what I'm getting at. They're even
it's
normal.
now that they get crazy.
Right, but even this, Philly fans can get salty anytime they want. They're normal during those games.
They're normals.
They're not even mad at you.
Right.
They try to talk trash,
because
but
it's
they
baseball in the summer. Like, it's whatever. When it matters, though, the switch gets flipped.
Right.
Football, the switch is flipped on every game, which is why I love it.
Which is why not.
That's why it's Mad Max Thunderdome over there.
Right.
All right, be right back. Bram Watch Show, ESPN 630 Sports Capital. Thursday Night Football this week. Trevor Lawrence is listed as questionable. Jaguars and Saints. He has a knee injury that forced him out for a period of time the other day. So we'll see if he ends up playing or not tomorrow night. Let's see. A couple of Saints starters are out, including one of their tackles. They're already having trouble scoring. Al's going to get another sleepy one. Hope Al's not
All
pissed.
signs point to boring again.
And we know how Al felt about the Jaguars last year, even though he had the greatest NFL comeback in the history of the playoffs.
That was the most ridiculous thing ever last year. You had the greatest play. That was the best playoff game, right? Wasn't it? Well, no, probably not.
Best.
Bengals,
it's either the
really
biggest playoff win or second biggest playoff win in Jaguars history.
Right. Yeah.
They did get to the AFC Championship against the Patriots a few years back with Blake Bortles. Remember that?
Yep.
And they blew it
Mm-hmm.
against them.
I know. Yeah.
And who'd they upset somebody to get there? I can't remember who, but they upset somebody to get there.
Wasn't that when they beat the Bills? Didn't
Could
the Bills
be.
Sneak in
and then
at
it
some
was
point?
back in the day, like early, they had a couple like early successes and got to AFC Championship games with Mark Brunell.
Yes.
Early.
Yeah, that's when they were
When your
stacked.
boy Coughlin was the head coach.
Definitely not my boy.
Speaking of Tom Coughlin, I did read this one too. You'll like this for Sunday. Since Tom Coughlin was the head coach of the Giants, no coach has lasted more than 2 years there.
Yeah, that I know. Yeah. Because that's where you have to go back and look at the boat picture for the rest of the coaches.
The boat picture. That picture started a free fall of a franchise like we've never seen before.
There's a moment you can pinpoint it.
Is there a way for them to go back and like end the curse? Like, do you go back there and with a witch doctor or something?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, for years, like the Cubs talked about billy goats. Is there something about that boat that cursed this team?
No, I look at it as the opposite. Whoever did the black magic to get Eli freaking Manning to go head-to-head against Brady twice and beat him both times. They're just paying their debts now.
I want to do my Eli impression, but I feel like I can't mumble right now.
No, don't do it.
Why?
It's borderline offensive.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Because
I'm not doing what you think.
I know.
I'm not doing what you think.
We're
I'm trying
working
to
in
do
radio here, man, and I just can't
You just don't want to. You can't put that in the podcast.
Can't do that.
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
I do enjoy doing my Eli, but I don't feel like I can pull it off right now.
Telling you as a producer, friend, and assistant program director, don't do it. Stop.
All right.
Stop.
Peyton. All right. Okay.
He doesn't even sound like that, actually.
I know. I can't do
He's
it right
funny.
now.
I think he's funnier than Peyton, actually.
He is funnier than Peyton. We have found this out over the last couple of years with that show. He's the funny one, actually.
Peyton,
he's the funny one.
Peyton has a baseline funny where like he's just consistently at like a 40% funny, and then when Eli
Peyton wants to be funny too. He performs.
So he
wants to be.
He throws
funny.
more darts at the board. But when Eli decides to throw the dart at the board, bullseye every time.
Eli's naturally funny.
Yes.
Peyton wants to be funny.
Exactly. Correct.
And doesn't mumble.
Yes. Correct.
Doesn't mumble.
Correct.
That's what hurts Eli. He mumbles.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. All the time. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Predictable. James Harden did not show up for practice on Wednesday.
Well, he hasn't been practicing Sunday, apparently.
Harden, who sought a trade since picking up his $35 million player option, has been expected to participate in Wednesday's practice. Last week, he said he could make the preseason debut at home on Friday, the team's final preseason game. Harden, after attending a meeting with the team in New York on Sunday, has been in Houston for the past 2 days, according to Ramona Shelburne.
See, that's the funniest part, is that he's in Houston. His favorite strip club city.
Yeah. I would like a more specific. Where in Houston is he, Ramona?
Come on, get his location.
Yeah, give me location
Find
services.
my iPhone on Harden.
Tell me where that is. The franchise plans to allow Harden the chance to explain his absence before deciding how to handle any punishment. Oh, I'll explain it to you. He wants to be traded. You won't trade him. The question is, will he be willing to go anywhere? Which I'm going to go with the answer is probably not. Rocking a hard place.
Right.
Let's see. In his only media appearance since arriving at training camp earlier this month, he said Friday that he could make his preseason debut in Philadelphia. Quote, I'll ramp it up and I'll try to play the last one just to get myself in a game situation and get used to the physicality of defenders bumping you and whatnot. Speed, the tempo, all that good stuff. So I think we've got a good plan in place. He attended practice on Sunday, but then was not at Monday's shoot-around or Monday night's game against the Nets. 76ers were off Tuesday. It's set up Wednesday as the next time he could potentially be on the court with his teammates. $35 million. He might potentially show up and play with them. Maybe. We'll see. He continues to call Daryl Morey a liar.
Yeah, right.
Well, actually, it's gone in I can't repair the relationship.
Correct.
Instead of just saying he's a liar, because Adam Silver doesn't like that stuff.
Yes, because didn't he get fined for that?
I think so.
I think he got fined for calling him a liar.
Let's see. Harden said Friday that there was no chance of the relationship being repaired with Daryl Morey. Asked directly about it, he said no. It's not even a situation. This is in life. When you lose trust in someone, it's like a marriage. You lose trust in someone. You know what I mean? It's that simple.
Calm down, man.
Me and the front office had a very, very good relationship for a decade. That was constant communication. There was no communication once we lost to Boston in the playoffs. They also, he's right. Like, they're both right here. Morey did lie to him. He picked up the option to be traded, not for any other reason. Otherwise, he wouldn't have picked up the option. But Morey said to him, I'm not just going to trade him to the one team you want me to trade you to. I will trade you, but we have to get a deal that we want back. He pulled Portland. He basically said, I'm not just trading you where you want to go. The Clippers aren't offering us anything that we want, so I'm not going to trade you. So I will to somebody else. And I bet Harden was probably saying, well, I don't want to go to the Magic or the Hornets or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, well, then I guess we're stuck. And then he said, you're a liar. Harden would not have picked up that option because he would have been a free agent and been able to sign for whoever.
Right.
And probably for longer than 1 year, he probably would have done that. He only picked this up to be traded to the Clippers. But Morey said, I'm not trading you there because whatever they were offering stinks. This is the second time this year. Remember, they were supposed to be part of the Porzingis deal, and that fell through.
That's right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
So now that Winger's gone, they don't know how to cut trades, those guys.
You're saying Winger's the missing piece out there?
Explain it. Winger left, and
Ted's
those guys
loving you
don't.
right now.
That's right.
Ted.
Winger.
Ted just ripped his shirt off.
Do you know who's in New York tonight? All of the Wizards. None of them have a problem with Winger. They're all playing tonight.
No, they're not. There's no chance they're all playing
Yes,
tonight.
they are. Jimmy Davis is going to play. Excuse me, Johnny Davis.
Is Poole going to play?
Poole's going to play.
He's not.
You can dual screen it
Coos.
on my app, Michael, when you watch the Senators and the Capitals and the Knicks and the Wizards. I got 48 camera angles.
If you're watching the Wizards preseason over Caps Senators, I don't know.
You're
man.
a basketball junkie.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're a basketball junkie.
Still, I'm
That's
saying
all.
those two teams.
Dude, I'm not going to make fun of that because, like, in the NFL in the preseason, I watch everybody. Like, I have the NFL Network on at 10 p.m. at night when Seattle is playing, Arizona in the preseason. So don't even laugh because I'm doing it. Oh, that backup to Gino looks okay. Mark that down in my notebook. Ooh, nice formation, Pete. That's what I'm doing. And they're like, yeah, I watch Wizards next preseason. What's your problem?
You're a psychopath.
Yeah, what's your problem, man? That's a cool Wednesday night to me.
Hey, what are you doing tonight, man? You wanna go grab dinner? Sorry, watching Wizards Knicks
Nah,
preseason.
Man, I'm busy. Busy.
Red flag. That's what that is.